Welcome to the Session Talk Show. I'm one of your hosts, Atia Willis.
I'm Stacey B.
Hey, and I am Rose.
And I'm Attorney Simone.
Okay, guys, so, we have some amazing people that we interview, but today we have somebody very, very special. You may know him on the iconic radio morning show, but let's welcome music and radio legend icon, Maddhatta. How are you doing?
I love this. Where y'all get those facts from?
Especially in Houston,
That's very kind of you, whoever wrote that. Thank you.
To start. I want to know your backstory. Tell us, where did it all start?
I'm from North Carolina. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm from a place called Fayetteville. Family is all military. Fayetteville is a military town. Fort Bragg, they just changed the name. Just interested in radio, and when I went to college at North Carolina A&T, majored in communications, and from there everything happened. It was a pretty quick move. I walked into the radio station. I used to wear not crazy hats. I'm aging myself, but I was obviously coming up, Run DMC was a huge influence on us. And I used to wear these Run DMC top hats, and I was like Linus. I had several different of those hats, but they all looked the same. So I had the basketball one. They're all black, but it's the basketball one, the one that I wore to bed. And anyway, people thought I was crazy.
You wore a hat to bed?
I know, you wore a hat to bed?
Yeah, I still wear a hat to bed.
Why?
The wife is cool. She don't care. She knows she got somebody
Who
else.
I always got
a hat on me,
Who
but I
pulls
just
a hat out there backpacking?
it's my comfort place. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But I just, she what, you should call yourself the Mad Hatter. So shout out to Yvonne Anderson. I thought it was a dumb name. Still don't agree with it till this day, but it started a career, and it was because of her I had that opportunity to work so many great years in radio.
You started DJing when you're 13.
I did.
Right, and there have been many struggles, ups and downs in your life. Now, and because of COVID, how did you get out of all that?
During COVID?
During COVID, all the struggles, and where you're at now, because you're an icon, you're really darn successful.
Well, I don't know about all that. It's nice to hear people say it, I guess. But, well, let's go to COVID. With COVID, I had just walked away from radio. So it was kind of it was a good place, although a bad thing, to just immediately walk away from radio and then fall into this new space with all these new things going on.
Isn't that where the vibes slide in? Right?
Well, no, not for a couple of months. For a couple of months, I was just sitting around trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grow up, because I was able to play around as a young teen and young adult, and I really played around most of my career, just laughing and giggling. I'm still in that place where I'm trying to figure out, exactly what I want to be when I grow up. I still haven't figured it out yet.
Now, what made you walk away from radio, though?
What made me walk away? I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy. It was just, I wasn't happy. And then I think here's what happens sometimes. Have you ever seen these shows on television where people leave these jobs and then they move to the tropics and they start like a coconut stand and sell drinks? Yeah. There was a lady that worked at the radio station, and I can't remember her name right now. God forgive me. Beautiful lady. And one day we just went to the job. She said, I'm going to quit my job. I'm like, you going to just quit? Where you going to go? And she was going somewhere on the West Coast, San Francisco, something like that. I'm like, what are you going to work doing? And she says, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there. And I'm like, what do you mean you're going to? This was, for a person, I was a workaholic too. I'm like, what do you mean you're just going to figure it out when you get there? She said, I'm just going to figure it out. I always wanted to go there, and so I want to do it. And so I'm doing it. And it started this series of friends quitting jobs. Right. One of my friends, JJ, one day she walked in the radio station, she quit. I had another friend named Riddler. He walked in the station one day, he quit. And it just looked so appealing, like, man, these people just walked in and just quit.
And I
think it because again, we watch these TV shows about how beautiful life could be if you could just go to an island and pour drinks and be tropical and lay on. And I think this was all in the back of my mind, because I literally have been a workaholic since I was a little kid, and there was never a break. And I missed a lot in my career because I was so focused. I hear people say things now. I remember when I met you here, or we did this there, and it's people that I know, but I didn't know them at different parts of my career. And that's just, I was so narrow focused. I missed out on a lot of good people, a lot of growth, because I was such a workaholic, and it takes away from me.
Are you having more fun now?
I have a son now. I have two daughters as well, but I have a son. And just kind of like looking through the world through these baby eyes, it's been very interesting because my two girls were adopted. So seeing him, and he reminds me of me and my wife, because we're just kind of quiet people and always trying to figure out the scene, so to speak. And you know, he doesn't cry a lot. He just like he'll come in here, he'll look at y'all like he's trying to figure out what's what, and then one of y'all smile, and it's like he like,
Surfing.
you seem all right. So then he'll start laughing. So I like that. So I'm working on that thing right there, but I'm happy with my family and I love them. And to me, that's the most important thing. And you know, we take trips now, things that I never really did when I was working. I'm a lot better at. I was not a very good boyfriend before because I just worked. I worked, and if you wasn't about the work or you didn't understand the work, too bad. And other people were like, "Oh, you're having fun, you're laughing and joking on the radio." Nah, that's the outside of it, but it was a very structured environment. It didn't sound like it to the folks that listen, but you know, for those that know and worked with me, it was a very structured environment, and I was just way too serious for the room for so many years. And
so Maddhatter's a character for you.
Yes. And Maddhatta has been very, very good to Ben Thompson, my real name. But he gave me an incredible career. I've had the opportunity to see him do things that most don't. You know, it was for 30 years. Love for everybody, but you know, you have your run and then you decide, you know, I don't really want to do this no more. Some days I do, like when big things happen, I know that Jimbo would have did this and Mac would have did that, and you know, Young Jazz and Natay would have did this, and you know, so I had these team of people, I know exactly what they would have did in these situations, and I'm like, oh, we could have did so much with this situation right here. But it is what it is, it was what it was, and we are where we are.
I'm happy to hear about your son. Do you think that's the inspiration behind your book? Is that what inspired you to write your children's book or working on your project?
He was totally the inspiration for that. I don't think there's enough Black representation or color representation at all, or other representations at all, if you know what I mean, in the media. I think we're starting to see it now, but I wanted a book that my kid could read that has his name on it, to see him doing great things. Like the book is about him being an entrepreneur. I want him to be an entrepreneur. I don't want him to go work for anybody. I want him to start off thinking, I can do this, I can do that, I can travel. So I wanted a book that would explore him being this little businessman and making money and having a staff and breaking off bread to everybody and being a good manager and being a good boss. I wanted the book to tell all that. And then it was important too, because when the illustrator had made the book, they didn't have a male figure in it at first, and I had to go back and like, oh no, we need to have a father in this story. We're not going to have the mother of a Black kid and there's no father figure in this story. I'm like, nah, we're going to have, I'm his dad. I want him and I want him to be bald. So make sure you put that in. So he definitely did it. So yeah, Case's Adventures. It is about young Case.
And where can we get your book?
It's not out yet.
Okay.
Everything, you know what? I don't. Y'all pretty good. Y'all want to do some research. Nothing is out yet.
Okay.
Nothing is out yet. I'm moving at my own pace. The book is done. It's just sitting on the laptop, just smiling back at me, waving like, are we gonna be sitting here for long? You know, I'm one of those kind of people. I just kind of move. I'm very Houston now. Houstonians move at their own pace. We're not in a rush. We're going to do it when the time is right. I want to say March, but I might wait until his birthday comes around again and he's 1 year old. So I don't know. It depends on how I feel.
I think it was unfair of us to say icon when we first introduced you. Like, I just watched The Sandlot the other weekend, and they say heroes get remembered, but legends never die. So with you being a Houston legend,
that's never dying.
on this show. I paid them to say all these incredible things, y'all. I paid for
Tell
all
us what's in the
this.
works. What else other than your book? What other projects? I know you have a podcast.
Do have the
Tell
podcast,
us
the
all.
Maddhatta Show podcast. It's really just me doing what I want to do. I'm really trying. I missed a lot in my career. I had fun doing it, but I missed a lot of people. And some people you might have known for years, but you don't know them. And a lot of my friends, I know them for 20, 25 years, but I don't know who they are. So I'm like, are they really my friend if I don't know anything about them? So I really started investigating that part on my podcast. It's really most of the people that you'll see me talking to, I have a really big interest in whomever I'm talking to or whatever the topic is. One guy I'll be talking about in a couple of weeks is about taxes and stuff like that. So if I'm not interested in it, I just don't want to talk to people for the sake of, like Chuck D used to say, I don't rap for the sake of riddling, I don't podcast for the sake of podcasting. You know, there's a purpose in every individual that I talk to. I'm truly interested. I want to hear their stories. I don't feel like I got 1 minute to talk. One conversation I did with Dr. Dixon, he's a director, did the movie Roll Bounce. I talked to him for almost 2 hours because his story was so compelling. It was like, what? And then what happened? And he was name dropping bombs, like, boom. And then I was with this person, and then I was on crack. Man.
Well, that'll do it.
Crack will make you go, wait a minute now,
Wait a minute, let's go back.
We can't just walk over the crack store. We got to get into the crack story a little bit. But he did. And it was really, really cool. So I'm interested in that. So it's called the Maddhatta Show. So it has the visual part of it, because you got to do that for YouTube. You got the part where you can listen to it. So it'll be on the Apples and wherever people listen to podcasts. The book, like you said before, Little Cases Adventure. I got another book that I forgot the name of, that's sitting there. I'm sorry. Then I did like a greatest hits album with some of my favorite rappers in the city that was really supposed to drop 2 years ago, but then I unexpectedly walked away prematurely. It was supposed to be a year later, but you know, I rushed it.
You're like operating in retired time.
I'm just kind of like laid back with things.
Yeah.
I think what happens in life, I missed out on a lot. So what I try to do now is I'm absorbing things. I'm taking it all in. You know, I might be at home with my son, and there was a time where I'm like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to do this. For the first time in my life, I'll stop working and pay attention and just be totally into that moment. So I'm just trying to be more intentional with my moments.
Wow, well, you are amazing at doing interviews.
Man,
Legend.
Icon. Man, how much I owe y'all for
I'll
this?
tell you,
We're going to tell you off camera.
I'm a who?
You're also a hypnotist.
And I'm a hit. I didn't even know that.
Seriously, yeah.
I'm gonna go broke on this shit. I'm gonna go broke with y'all. But thank you. I want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. You beautiful ladies. Obviously, you're doing your thing, and so I'm wishing you guys a lot of success on what you're doing as well. Because I know these spaces are hard spaces, and it takes a lot of work to make them happen. So I'm wishing you success in your movement.
Thank you.
So tell us, where can we follow you on social media?
Just look for the giant M in the sky. No, it's the Real Maddhatta on Instagram, DA Real Maddhatta on Twitter, or you know what? Just go to themaddhatta.com, the website, and everything is there. It'll connect you to where my music is, website, Instagram page, the digital radio stations that I do, from the Vibe Houston through KTSU to my own digital radio stations. Everything is there. The Maddhatta is TheMaddhatta.com.
Thank you so much again. You're tuned into the Session Talk Show. All right.